This conference will now be recorded.
All right, let's get the recorder up and running. Today is October 1st. Happy Monday. So first trading day of October. As always, everything that we're going to be going over this morning is for educational purposes only. Nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So let's talk about a few things going on out there. First thing, and probably one of my favorites of this morning, is this NBEV. So closed at 535, took a big jump over the weekend, and it's been trading pretty beautifully during the pre-market. But the thing that I like most about it is the show of hand that we've gotten so far. So even before we got back up to that 650, I really liked this big burst that we got coming in at 635, and then almost immediately after, we could see a big burst again. We had a couple prints at first at 650, but then another nice big burst at that 650 level. So going to be expecting this thing to end up pulling back out of this consolidation, but overall, we're certainly going to be looking for this thing to have more room towards that upside. So, we expect about, give or take, 50-cent pullback before our price target of at least 7. Now, based off, if we get more buying coming in, we could see at that 650. I'm not worried about this selling right here because we know, first of all, that the stock has to pull back, and we also know that people are going to be taking profits, especially when the stock, is up over 20% already. But the new buying that keeps coming in is showing us that there's new positions being taken, that we're going to be expecting this thing to continue on its way back up. Next thing is GE. Oops, wrong. So GE coming into this morning, whatever happened, I frankly I don't care. But we closed at 1129, took a little bit of a drop, and then we hit pretty much this 1075 level, and then it's just been on pretty much a rampage towards the higher parts of 13. Now 13 has been very, very mixed, but one thing we keep seeing is there is new big buying that has been coming in. Okay, it's already traded 34 million shares. So you got to keep in mind what looks like huge buying or huge selling probably isn't as much as you'd actually think, just based off of the fact that it's trading this much volume this morning. So we're going to be expecting to see some type of ridiculous volume over the course of the day. The only other thing that, I would just be a little bit careful of is that in this consolidation, a lot of times we see, when the cheaper stock makes this big of a move already during the pre-market, we kind of see it fizzle out a little bit. I don't expect that to be the case here. But at that 13 level, we're getting new buying without a doubt, but there really isn't a great show of hand, and it's very hard to get a great show of hand when you have this much volume trading, but certainly something that we're going to have to pay attention to. And then another thing, but it's on our side list, is SYN. Reason it's on our side list, I'm just not ecstatic about the volume that we've been seeing coming into it. Coming up to this 4 level, I really haven't seen anything that really shows us that the stock has to come up. We've had a little bit of new buying coming in towards the 4, but not really any prints at that 4 level, and it's just kind of a little bit lackluster as it's gotten here. So remember, the higher that the stock gets up, when we start to see less and less new buying, that kind of gives us an idea that it's going to end up fizzling out. Not saying that it's done yet, but it's on our side list just because I'm not really that happy with the new buying that we've seen as we've come towards that level. So overall, it certainly has the opportunity for it, but once again, like I said, just going to need more of that new buying. Then a few other things that we see going on out there now. AMD, okay, something that we'll certainly be watching. Now, AMD coming down towards that 30 level this morning, but you could see the second that it hit the 30, came close to that 30 level, we ended up getting a push right back up. So going to need some new information at that 31. Certainly, something that will, one of our everyday stocks, something that we constantly watch, but keep an eye on that. And then IGC is a new one that just came in. I wasn't too happy with it this morning until what just happened there. So IGC is going on our list right now. I just saw that out of the corner of my eye on one of my charts, but beautiful show of hand at that 8 level. Okay, so the stock, it's just been on pretty much a tear ever since that 2 level, and so far, that this right here, the perfect example of what we look for when we get to a higher level. That 8, just beautiful new buying, a brand new position being taken there. I'm not going to expect it to continue just tearing towards that upside. Definitely going to need to pull back from here before I would be looking to get into it. But overall, just a beautiful position that we just saw coming in. And other than that, let's take a look at our scanner. I don't see too much else that I really care too much about. So SYN we know about, IGC we know about, OGEN we have 1 million shares, but it's just better things for us to look at. I'm not really, nothing there that I really care too much about. NBEV we've already spoken about. Coming down, GE we've already spoken about. We have ATRS 512, but doing absolutely nothing. CRON 251,000 shares, but another one. Just, I mean, it's, it jumped up a little bit, but there's nothing going on there whatsoever. AMRN 1.2. It's not terrible, but there's not really, it's just better stuff for us to be looking at. First of the table really here was coming down was that 17 was definitely new selling that we saw there. Jumped up, pretty substantial amount over the weekend, about $1.70, give or take. And looking at it, we did get some new selling at that 17, but it's a little bit mixed. So, it's certainly something that we're going to watch, but it's on the bottom of my list compared to the other stocks that we have that just have shown such a better show of hand here. We have TS 123, excuse me, 1,000 shares, nothing going on there either, and then INSM. So going over the losers list, we have a stock that got halted, it looks like this morning, AKRX. Did it open again? Yeah, it looks like it opened again. But yeah, I don't know what was going on with the volume. No, it's definitely not open yet. I'm not sure what was going on with the volume, but yeah, all of a sudden, I mean, this thing was just getting crushed, and it started after after this huge move towards that downside to start to get bigger volume, but it really most of the move was on absolutely nothing. So I have no idea what's going on there. Might be something you want to take a look at. I'm not going to be focusing on it coming into the open of the market. We'll definitely have some better stuff for us to be looking at. UEC 117, absolutely nothing, and then GERN, just not really something that I'm going to be focusing on as we get to the beginning, where and especially our highest volume times. Anything in Facebook? I was looking at Facebook this morning. So far, nothing. I mean, it's coming up, but it's coming up on nothing. I don't really see any prints there yet that changes anything, that we've seen from last week. You could see, coming into this morning, 8 o'clock, you had a few below the bid prints, and the rest of it's just kind of garbage. I mean, so, coming up on really, at the end of the day, on nothing. I mean, the volume just absolutely horrendous. Nothing going on there yet. TLRY, let's take a look. I mean, this is certainly something, that will, that's going to have a big range and something that we can, that definitely will have a trade in it somewhere. But another one this morning, I don't really see anything there. This is a stock based off of how much it moves. I need to see, a burst of something, not just a few prints, not a mixed level. I need to see something that jumps out. And as of right now, I don't really see it. I mean, we have a few prints at 157, not really too much going on there. PYPL almost never will I'll have any opinion on the open of the market because it barely ever trade. They trade 23,000 shares, so nothing going on there. My overall thought process is still exactly what it was. And then Tesla this morning, I have not looked at it once. There's a bunch of selling that came in at that 305 level. It's already kind of coming down from there. It didn't really pull up. It pulled up, but it didn't really pull up as much as you would have expected it to. It gapped up. So, apparently it was horrible news. I don't really see it as, the market didn't really see it as horrible. But coming in, there's some decent selling. You just, once again, once the market opens, you're going to need a better show of hand. TLRY still looking to go down. Well, TLRY never pulled back from the 120 prints. So, you know what? At the end of the day, this thing could go back down to 100 today. So, the one thing is that it didn't pull back. Okay, it's not the fact that there was tons of selling that showed the stock had to go down. It showed it had to pull back off of the actual buying that we got there. So overall, do I think that TLRY will come back down? I absolutely do. It's just going to be a matter of when that personality shows it's going to happen. CELG, let's take a look. Absolutely nothing. It's traded 3,000 shares today. No, I can't give an opinion on it. I don't see anything. Some big prints, coming into the close and then after the close on Friday, but just not really anything going on there. All right, guys, so we got our list. Let's go, go out there. Let's make sure, today's looking like we're going to have some pretty decent volume. I mean, the pre-market's not bad whatsoever. It looks like we're going to get a whole bunch of stuff out there moving, so let's get ready for that. Once again, one other thing, we have Traders Exchange tomorrow. I know I still have a few questions from last week, but make sure we send any questions that we do have to te@aheadofthecharts.com. And then another thing, remember, we have our workshop not this Wednesday, the following Wednesday. I think it's October 10th. Let me just verify that. Yes, October 10th. So if you're not signed up for that yet, make sure that you get enrolled, where you're going to be talking about the secrets on reading the prints. All right, guys, let's get ready for the morning and happy trading.